Hi friends, if I ask you to give me 8 to 10 growth stocks out of the top 500 stocks, how would you go about it? If you do not know the answer of this question, then do not worry. In this video, I will simplify a process that you can use anytime and can anytime find out top 8 to 10 growth stocks out of 500 stocks. For this, what we are going to do is we are going to go to screener, as you can see on my screen, and we are going to simply click on create new screen. You will find the link of the screener in the description or in the pinned comments. Not a promotion, I am trying to help you out. First thing we will do is we are going to build a query. If you have never used screener and you are a beginner, do not worry, you will understand a lot about screener in this video. So first thing what we are going to do is we are going to select the top 500 stocks, because right now on stock exchange there are more than 4,500 listed stocks. Our first task is to find out top 500 stocks. So for that, what we are going to use is we are going to use a parameter called market capitalization. So let us go ahead and type market capitalization here, and as you start to type, screener will give you market capitalization. Click on that. What we are really interested in here is the stocks that have got market capitalization of greater than 10,000 crores. So the moment you type 10,000, it automatically means it is in crores here, right? So let us run this query. When we run this query, we see that there are 473 stocks. So these are the top stocks that have market capitalization of more than 10,000 crores. Now, if you only want to do this analysis, for example, for a large cap space, then what you can do is change this market capitalization accordingly. For example, if you only want to know growth stocks within the large cap space, then let us go ahead and change this 10,000 to, let us say, 80,000. So I'm going to change this to 80,000 and I am going to run this query. That gives me top 103 stocks, which are all large cap stocks, right? So you can accordingly play with this market capitalization query. So let me go back and change it to 10,000 crore, because what we really want to do is look at the top 500 stocks, right? So let me run this query and we get to 473 stocks. The next thing we need to do is, out of these 473 stocks, we need to find out which are the growth stocks, right? And in my view, growth stocks are the most misunderstood stock space, because people think that growth stock is a stock that is growing at a very, very good rate in terms of its share price, which is totally incorrect. What is the definition of growth stock? Growth stock is a stock or a company for which the profitability as well as the revenues are growing at a faster rate than the industry average. That is the definition of the growth stock. And when a growth stock's profitability and revenues are growing at a faster rate than the industry, what happens naturally is that investors flock around to buy that stock, and in turn the prices of that stock goes up, and therefore the chances of people making money is higher, right? I hope this very, very basic point about what is a growth stock is very, very clear to you. And if you like that explanation, please hit the like button. Let me know in the comments a simple thank you. It will motivate me to come up with such videos. So for this, now what we are going to do is come back here and modify our query. So what we are going to do is, first of all, add another condition. So if you want to add another condition, just type in AND here. So this means now I am looking for those stocks that have got market cap of more than 10,000, and my second criteria is I'm going to look at profit growth. So I'm going to type here profit growth. Now the definition is the profit growth needs to be more than the industry average. On my screen, you see a lot of stocks and I do not know which industry they belong to. I do not know what is the industry growth rate in terms of profitability. So how do I go about calculating that number here? I cannot calculate it. There is no way simply for us to know that number. Therefore, what I am going to do is I am going to go ahead with 30% profit growth rate. So if I type here 30, that means I'm interested in those stocks that are giving me more than 30% profit growth, because 30% is a very, very good profit growth rate in my view. And we will see the stock list and we can make further analysis based on that, right? Second point that I want to qualify here is that I have selected profit growth here, which simply means, if you look at the explanation here, trailing 12-month profit growth, meaning I am shooting this video in March 2024. So this system is going to give me those stocks only that are growing from a profitability perspective by more than 30%. But the profitability it will consider here is from January 2023 to December 2023, 4 quarters it will take. Okay. And now it will go back to January 2022 and December 2022. And it will now take these cumulative numbers and calculate the percentage growth, right? This point I hope is very, very clear to you. And the reason I'm not going beyond trailing 12 month, I'm not going for 3 years of profit track record or 5 years of profit track record is simply because I want to tap into those stocks that have just started to grow. Because if I find those stocks and hold them for the next 4 to 5 years, then the chances of me making money is very, very high, right? This is the thesis I'm using here. Then comes the next very, very important parameter, which is the revenue growth, right? So let us go ahead and add revenue growth here as well. So I'm going to say, and give me the sales growth. So on the screener, you will find sales growth rather than revenue growth. It's just a terminology. Let us go ahead and say that I am only interested in those stocks that have got sales growth in the last trailing 12 months. It is the same logic here as well. 4 quarters minus 4 quarters, right? Run this query. And we have got now 56 stocks. So these 56 stocks are the stocks that have given me more than 30% of sales growth from a trailing 12 months basis perspective. Why do we need to consider sales growth as well? Because a company that is now growing from a profit perspective, if that company is not growing its revenues, then the profit growth is not sustainable in the long term, because they might be able to grow their profit by saving the cost or by not having debt or by reducing their debt. But unless the top line grows, in the near future, profits are not likely to come, and the profit growth is alone not sustainable. That is the reason we are using both the parameters, sales growth and profit growth. Hopefully that point is also very, very clear to you. That gives us total 56 stocks, right? Now, what I have also done here, if you note, is I have also added few columns here, which is 3 months return. This is my standard screener screen because I always use these 3 columns here: 3-month return percentage, 6-month return percentage, 1-year return percentage. These are the stock price returns. If you do not know how to add it, simply go to edit columns here and just in the filter ratio here, type in return. So if you type return here, you are going to get these return over 3 months, return over 6 months, return over 1 year. Please simply go ahead and add that because you may not be able to see these ready-made in your filter screen. Please go ahead and add that. We are going to use it now. First thing what you're going to do here is that out of these 56 stocks, if I sort it by 1 year returns, as you can see here, the first stock here, Worry Renewable stock, has given close to like 1000% return in last 1 year. Should you look at investing in these stocks? No, absolutely no, because the chances of it correcting is much, much higher than you making some money out of this stock. So what is the logic we are going to apply here to find out of these 50 stocks, which are the stocks which are at reasonable valuation? Okay, for that what we are going to use is we are going to use one filter, which is profit growth is higher than the last 1 year return. It is an important parameter because what we need to do is we need to understand that the stock prices have appreciated here a lot. As you can see on my screen, some of the stocks, for example, KPI Green Energy, 471% of appreciation in last 1 year, BSE 398, Inox Wind 359%. All of these have given massive rallies, and what you don't want to do is get trapped in these stocks and buy these stocks at a very high price. That is what typically happens with many retail people. They leave comments on my channel saying, Rahul, I got Inox Wind and now I'm trapped into this stock. What do I do? Should I exit? Should I book my loss? I do not want you to get into those situations. We are going to understand here how do we find those stocks which are at reasonable valuation. So for that, what we are going to do is, first thing we are going to look at the profit growth percentage. So I am going to put another filter here which says, and I want to only look at those stocks where the profit growth has been higher than the price appreciation in the last 1 year. So if I say profit growth is higher than the return over 1 year, that if we run the query, we are going to 6 total 21 stocks. Now, if I want to look at, for example, let us look at here, if I sort it by the profit growth percentage, again, if you don't have profit growth percentage, sales growth percentage on your screener, go ahead and add those in the columns. You can do it easily. Okay. Now, Tata Motors, first one, Tata Motors. Have a look at this stock. Okay. What you will notice here, profit growth in the last 12 months have been 495%. 500% profit growth rate is what Tata Motors has seen. But the stock price has appreciated by 138%, right? So profits have gone very high, but the stock have also gone up, but not at the same level, right? So it means there may be some more room in this stock, at least if we start to put this into our shortlist, right? So this way we get 21 stocks where at least we know the profits have grown at a very high rate. And when the profit grows at a higher rate than the stock price, what typically happens is that the PE ratio of this company is going to be lower than the industry PE. Not always, but there are chances. So for example, clearly Tata Motors is trading at a PE of only 18, while the industry is at 29. Right? So it is trading at a lower PE than the industry PE. although the price has appreciated by 138%, but because the profit has grown at a higher rate than the stock price appreciation, that is why the PE still looks very, very attractive in my view. Again, I'm not recommending you to go and buy Tata Motors because there are a number of factors before we invest in any stock. Here we are just simply building a list. Then what we will do is we will go deep into that list and analyze stocks that we should be investing in. Now comes my last filter, which is we are going to only consider those stocks who are trading at a lower PE than the industry PE. Now, it doesn't mean that if the stock's PE is higher than the industry PE, that is a bad stock. No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that. You can consider investing in those stocks as well. Do a thorough research. But here I am only considering those stocks that are growing at a very, very good growth rate, right? From a profitability perspective, from a revenue perspective, and still their PE is lower than the industry PE. So for that, what we're going to do is put another criteria here. So we are going to say and what we are going to look at is the PE ratio. So let us say price to earning here, which is less than the industry PE. You will easily find industry PE here. So just click on this and now you get 7 stocks. These are the 7 stocks that out of 500 stocks, we have gone to 7 stocks only by using simple 4 to 5 simple parameters. But most people do not understand these 4 to 5 filters. They rely on the news, like Economic Times they will read, which is also good. You should read those news, but they will primarily rely on the agencies and the brokers that are giving some recommendations saying that this stock is going to go up. Please use this method also and you are going to get some quality stocks for you to do some further research, right? So these 7 stocks, let me read these names out to you. Tata Motors, Welspun Corporation, Interglobe, Natco Pharma, Credit Account Grameen, Biocon, Federal Bank. Federal Bank, I spoke about this stock as well in one of my previous videos. I can't remember. In my view, in 2024, this could very well be a dark horse of 2024. Not a stock recommendation here, but if you see here, the PE ratio of all these stocks is less than the industry PE. Now, one thing that you also need to understand is that if you are looking and picking any NBFC or a banking stock, like for example, Credit Account Grameen is an NBFC. Federal Bank is a bank, right? Whenever you're looking at financial stocks, please make sure you also look at the PB ratio. PB ratio is extremely important. For example, if you look at the book value here, price to book value ratio as well, in Federal Bank's case, it is 1.50, industry is at 1.72. So that means it is trading at a lower value than the industry value, right? Again, by simply doing this analysis, you've got these 7 stocks. What you can now do is go ahead and do further full fundamental analysis on the stock. Try and understand what can happen with the company in the next 12 months. What are the tailwinds in the sector? What are the tailwinds for the company in terms of the growth? And also understand if there are any big events happening in that particular stock. So for example, in case of Tata Motors, there is going to be a demerger. I hope all of you know about that news that Tata Motors is going to split into passenger vehicles as well as into commercial vehicles, 2 listed entities. And the shareholders are going to get 1 share each from these 2. What is going to be the impact of that? From an investor's perspective, it is a very, very good move that you can decide to choose whether you want to be with the passenger vehicle company or commercial vehicle company. That is going to take 12 to 15 months of time. But overall, the investor community liked that news and the stock for Tata Motors shot up by close to 7% when the news hit the market. I would highly recommend you to go and do the full analysis of these stocks. Also, you can consider joining my YouTube member community because I post in-depth analysis of stocks and mutual funds that will benefit you in terms of making the right decisions. With that, I will see you in my next video. Until then, keep rocking.